Hello everyone, let me start this review off with a question. What do you get when you fuse the best elements of 3 Genesis Legends? You get Freedom Planet. This action platformer by Galaxy Trail isn't new to the world, as it's been out on Steam since July 21st, 2014. However, Freedom Planet has recently been re-released on the PS4, and having been graced with a copy from the company themselves, it's only right that I take a moment to tell you my personal thoughts and experience with both the original version of the game and the port, so that you can get an idea on if picking up this version is right for you. So, let's start things off where we always do, with the story. Freedom Planet starts off right as you power on the game, giving you a rather large and important dose of story before the title screen even appears. Aliens led by a villainous scoundrel lay siege to one of the kingdoms of the land, kidnapping its prince and brainwashing him into doing their bidding, but not before forcing the young prince to watch his own father, the king, get beheaded by the Green Menace. We soon skip a ways into the future, arriving at present day, discovering that the entire world is running low on energy, and that it's only a matter of time before war breaks out between all the nations of the land over an item called the Kingdom Stone, which supplies its fading energy to the planet. From here, we switch scenes once again, the game introducing us to 2 individuals, a dragon named Lilac and a wildcat named Carol. Together, they bear witness to the theft of the Kingdom Stone and are wrongfully blamed for the crime. How will they clear their names? What of the alien menace? That, my friends, I cannot tell you, as saying any more would give away drastic spoilers for the game's really fun and surprisingly dark at times story. However, what I can tell you is that, despite being a 2D platformer, this game has a really good pacing with its storytelling. Normally you get a dose of 2 parts game for every 1 part dialogue, which, I might add, is actually voice acted, something that's extremely rare for pixel art games. However, there were 1 or 2 times I felt I was saying through the dialogue for just slightly too long. Was it long enough to stop me from enjoying the title? Not at all! In fact, it allowed for better world building and attachment to the characters. Not to mention that it helped with making it easy to understand why the different stages were in specific settings, which I greatly appreciate. However, when it did get to be a bit long on the dialogue, I felt that I did start zoning out slightly, which is a bummer as I do really enjoy the plot of this game. Perhaps the developers will address such a small issue in their upcoming sequel. After all, the easiest way to keep players from zoning out is to have some dialogue happen while the players are still partaking in the action rather than having everything pause. You remember what I said earlier when I mentioned that this game takes the best elements of 3 Sega Genesis classics and fuses them into their own unique thing? Yeah, well, I wasn't lying to you. Freedom Planet borrows elements from 3 of my favorite video games to play from when I was a kid. Obviously, there's the level design, platforming, and speed elements that have been inspired by the Sonic the Hedgehog series. However, those with a keen eye will notice that the combat and health system is very similar to the game's Sparkster, which is also known as Rocket Knight, as well as the difficulty and boss designs taking inspiration from another game known as Gunstar Heroes, to the point that one of the bosses in the game is actually an homage to the fight against Green from said game. Now, while it may seem to you that I'm just calling Galaxy Trail copycats, I want you to take note that I said the designers took inspiration from these other games. As such, I can easily tell you that everything the people at Galaxy Trail used as inspiration has been modified and even upgraded somewhat to make it their own thing, which is something I applaud them on, as it would have been much easier for them to simply copy and paste the elements, but they went a step further, which is something developers should do when using resources for inspiration. That said, I should probably get to talking about the controls now. When I was playing the game my first time through, I was doing so on the Wii U version, which actually ran better than the PC variant. With that version of the game, I was able to perform button inputs and see actions happening on screen with only a few hiccups, such as the up or down strikes not liking to activate and having the character do a standard forward strike instead. Granted, this didn't happen a lot, in fact it happened maybe 30 times at most, which isn't that much at all when you're playing an action platformer. However, the fact of the matter is that it was still something that happened. However, when I played the new PS4 port of the game, I only had 1 time I ever had an issue with the controls, and that was when the game was going into a purposeful slow motion which kept me from being able to do Lilac's cyclone maneuver whilst in the air for 2 seconds. Clearly, this is a drastic improvement. Granted, there wasn't much issue to begin with in the Wii U version, but improvement is improvement. And the level design? Well, while there's often a ton happening on screen at once, the fact that all the paths one takes can lead to the goal made it very easy to keep the momentum going, and there's even secrets one can find, giving those who like to take it a little slower something to look for, while speedrunners can make a mad dash to the goal. As such, with the new port of Freedom Planet, everything flowed much more smoothly, with but maybe a quarter of a second delay due to the Bluetooth connectivity issues for the PS4 controller, allowing for my combos to be performed without a hitch, and my jumps to always be on time, when I remembered to hit the button. Okay, if you've seen any of my videos, then you know I'm a sucker for pixel graphics. And I tell you, Freedom Planet delivers. All the elements and items give off the atmosphere of the environment you're in, and look as if they came from the golden age of the 32-bit era. The color contrast causing the characters to pop while still allowing them to somehow blend in enough that it feels as if they're actually within the area the character's sprites are standing on, rather than giving off a feeling of a block just being retextured. And the anthropomorphic designs of the characters not only look great, but they also get across their personalities extremely well. As for the design choices for the setting of this game, most of it appears to be an Eastern theme, most likely referencing China due to the panda characters. And this aesthetic actually fits the game extremely well, thanks to the emphasis on multiple characters using martial arts to attack. As for what feels different about the PS4 port, well, the parallax scrolling seems to be a bit smoother, but that's pretty much it. Once again, I will not be the judge of sound here for you, as your own ears will tell you if they like the sounds or not. However, I would like to mention once again that this game is fully voice acted as well, but I fear showing off any of the voice clips might very well ruin the story for you. Anyhow, I'll shut up so you can listen up. In the end, there's not too much different from this version of Freedom Planet. The button presses are just slightly more responsive and the parallax scrolling does feel slightly smoother, but that's pretty much it. However, this game didn't need anything to be changed for it still to be a fun time. As I said, I had a blast playing either version of it, even though the game is a bit on the shorter side, which is pretty common for these kinds of games. That said, I give the PS4 port a rating of 8.5 out of 10, making it worth a buy if you don't have a copy already, and if you do, you're probably already playing it right now while I speak. This game is a lot of fun, and I can't emphasize that enough. Galaxy Trail did a great job in making this game, and with the news of a sequel being in development, there's no better time to catch up with Lilac and the crew.